We are live and recording. Welcome to PacWest Bigfoot. This is David, and I got a good friend, Linda, and she's actually from Southern Oregon, my area. Well, I think she's originally from up north, but she's been down around the Rogue Valley, Medford area for a long time. And not only did she have an experience, but also she's going to explain a little something that happened to a family member of hers, or with a family member of hers. Real quick, I'm going to let you know this next week's encounter story. I wanted to introduce you to a gal, and it's really awesome. She does some basically some jewelry work out of, I believe it is Cave Junction area, and I want to share a little bit of her stuff with you. It's absolutely awesome. I've got some of it. I'm not doing it today. I'll be doing it next week. But I'll be sharing that with you as well. Also, if you want to, you can get over to PacWestBigfoot.com, click on the old shop, and you can grab yourself a nice coffee mug or, hoodies or whatever. And also, real quick, some of you guys have been telling me I was right about the book. That's right, Shadow in the Woods. Don't go in. From J.P. Choquette, and she is, if you like fiction stories, I'm telling you right now, this is one to get. Also on PacWest Bigfoot, I'm working on it right now. Give me about 2 or 3 more weeks, and I'll have a page out on the website that has a list of nonfiction and some fiction books alike that I absolutely love, that I think are a must for any Bigfooters collection out here, and also some links to some awesome websites with not only Bigfoot encounter stories that some similar ones that you would find here on the old PacWest Bigfoot, but also some great research sites as well, to some of the best researcher groups out here that I know of. I mean, they're all pretty great, but you know what I mean. Ones that I have heard about and dealt with and listened to myself that I have found to be very awesome. So with that, that's enough of this. Linda, you there?
Yes, I am. Can you hear me?
Awesome. Oh, yeah. So what I want you to do is just kind of, I know that you're going to give us first start off with a little bit about your brother's incident, family member's incident, and then yours. And if you can, let us know where these things are, if you don't mind, where these things happen, and I'll ring up the old Google Maps, and people can check that out. And that way you can check it out too on Google Maps when you watch the recording of this back. It'll show you how to get there anyways. I know you had a question about how do I get and see the actual roads and stuff. I'll show you how to do that while we're here. Okay.
Okay.
So be descriptive. Tell us everything, and we can start with your brothers first.
Okay. My brother 6 years ago went camping or scoping out camping in Lapine, I believe it was, which is below Bend.
Yes.
And he came home, and I was at my mom's, and this is in Albany, and his name is Mark, and he came home just freaked out. He saw Bigfoot. He saw Bigfoot.
Do you know a kind of a general area around Lapine,
No, I don't.
looking at Davis Lake, Wickiup Reservoir?
No, I don't know exactly where it was at. I'll have to ask him. I want him to call
Okay.
you. I mean, I want you to call him and have his own interview. That's what I was kind of waiting for. But
Okay.
he was very descriptive in what he saw. But what happened is he was in his camper, and he was looking through a scope. It wasn't on a gun or anything. He was making breakfast in the camper, and he saw what he thought was a bear eating berries, just sitting down eating berries. And he looked at it and he looked at it, and he was making breakfast. And he looks at it again and says, "That isn't a bear." And it's about 100 yards away. And he made some noise in the camper. It got up, it stood up, it walked towards him, now about 80 feet. And I think he screamed. but he said he made more noise, but it tilted its head. It was about 7.5 to 8 feet tall. He said he thought it was young, but it tilted its head, rolled its lips back. It showed its teeth. His teeth looked like chiclets. It was a scene straight out of Planet of the Apes. And he freaked out. And it stood and looked at him, turned around, walked back into the tree line, and turned one more time to look back at him, and it walked right into the tree line. And he said it changed his life forever. Because, you know, we always, as kids, we would always go into the woods and camp, and they're avid
Mhm.
hunters, they're avid
Yeah.
fishermen. You know, my dad is. Okay, well, I mean, his hair's just standing on end. And by the time he was telling me um, this, I was, uh, you know, scared too, because my brother would never lie about something like this. You know, I mean, he's telling my mom, he's telling my brothers, he's so freaked out. And so, you know, I was sitting there thinking about it after we left. Well, a few incidents happened after that. You know, I went to the doctors right after that because
Mhm.
I was there because I just had an operation, and I went into the doctors, and the doctor, I said, so what else has been going on? And I told him that my brother saw Bigfoot. He said, you know, my wife and I were coming back from the coast. He took 3 steps going across a 4-lane highway. We had to slam on the brakes, and I was so freaked out. I was looking over my shoulder after I got out of the emergency room. And because I thought maybe I had a blood clot or something, I had to have it checked. It was a specialist from Jacksonville. And he, he was so freaked out when I told him. And then that's when I started going, whoa. And other people had said, when I mentioned it, that's when people started telling me their
Mhm. And
encounter.
could you just describe what they saw and kind of like, you know,
Yeah, he said it had a black face and like a leathery face, and it had black hair, and just the teeth looked like chiclets. And basically, what I had just said is what he said. Now, I haven't talked to him about it in a while.
mhm.
I had to call my other brother and ask him what he saw, because I haven't been up there to talk to him because he's always busy when I go there. I miss him, you know, I miss seeing him, and just in passing, you know, because I'm only up there for a
Yeah.
couple of days on the weekend. But I started thinking back about, see, every year my dad would take us to Blue River Reservoir to go camping for opening fishing season, and we were the first ones there. And we would go over to Mona Campground, and it's a campground at Blue River Reservoir that's over the bridge, and there's only, I think, 2 campgrounds over there, but no one ever came over there because we always had such a big crew. When we came in, they just said, no, we'll just stay over here because there's so many other campgrounds on the other side.
Mhm.
Okay, well, you know, and we grew up going uh, every year to Mona Lake. I never ever thought about Bigfoot there. You know, yeah, we went and looked for him, and yeah, once we were teenagers, we, you know, get our friends together and go look for him. But I never thought about it until after my brother was telling me his story.
Mhm.
Okay, so
And that's, yeah,
so
that's off the Mackenzie Highway
oh,
there. So
okay, yeah,
yeah.
yeah, you go up past Nimrod. It's Could you go
Yeah,
back?
I see it here on the map. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
if you
can't I
go back,
can't get on the like the street view there because Google vehicle didn't go up there, but yeah, I can
but
see.
you can
Yeah,
see Mona
we can see
Campground.
the whole area there. Yeah.
Okay, so you know, I would be laying out in the sun there one day, and I was sitting there thinking, are they building condominiums up there? There was so much wood knocking. I was like, what in the heck? Are they building condominiums or what? Okay, down at the end of Blue River Reservoir, there's a campground, Mona Campground. If you could punch that in.
Southern end.
Yes, sir. And and on the other side of the lake, that no, I think it's up more.
Blue
Uh,
River, let's go campground and it'll show
yes,
us right here.
yes, sir. More
Campground.
campground, and it. I'm telling you, okay, my
Down here,
dad would.
Echo Campground. There's one down here towards the southeast, and there's one up here. Echo Campground. Is that the one you're talking about?
No, Mona. M. I, I think it's the one by your cursor, right? No, no, no. Sunnyside Creek. Is that Blue River Reservoir?
Oh
That's not.
wait, no,
That's
that's
not
Cougar. Here's
right here. Yes. If that's that one might
Mona. There it is.
be
There it
one.
is. There's Mona, and here's a picture of it right here.
Okay. So So one year, I don't remember when, but my dad is up there with me and we're camping. But we went out onto the flat. If you could see a topical view, we're out on the flat because we were never in under the trees. That's the other side of the campground. And I
Okay.
tell you what, there's a lot of campers there. So if they're knocking to tell how many people there were, then that would make sense because they were knocking to be held. Can you go across the lake? I mean, like that's where there's a flat right across the lake, and that's where we camped.
Let's
And
see
if you
here.
could zoom in,
See, there's the pictures of it, and
yes, right there, and zoom in, there's a flat right there. Yes, yeah, that's where we would camp.
okay.
And yeah, that's where we would camp. And so, you know, we're on this flat. We're kind of by the tree line, but we're on this flat. And uh my dad and I would walk down on that side and go fishing. And he'd go, "Are you throwing rocks?" And I'd go, "No." He'd get frustrated and he left me there. And then all of a sudden, these rocks started zooming by me. And I don't know what I thought. I guess I thought chipmunks were throwing it at me because I never got scared. I just turned around and said, "Knock it off." You know, I kept saying knock it because they were zooming right past me and stuff. They never hit me. They were just zooming past me. And
Mhm.
I can't tell you when any of these incidents happened because we went up there every single year. But I will tell you that one year, um, my uh, my cousin and I, we went with my cousins too. My cousin and I went up there, and these two guys from across the way came over and sat with us in our campground. And these rocks are zooming right. It was about 1:30 in the morning. Everybody's asleep. I don't know how we got this elite moment. It was just, because these guys were so cute and we were just so enamored. I'm in what, the 11th grade, maybe seventh. And we were so enamored because they were so handsome, and we were talking all night long. And, what are the chances? Because my parents would have freaked, otherwise, what are these guys doing in our campground? And these rocks kept zooming past my face at the campsite. And I'm like, no, who's throwing rocks? I got up and walked over to them. This was like 10 feet apart. My cousin and this other guy is on the other side, and the other guy is sitting beside me. And he goes, "I'm not throwing them. My hand would be, flinging or something if I was throwing a rock." And so
Mhm.
I go back and we're sitting down. And then pretty soon rocks are zooming past him and he's freaking out. But we never got up and checked because I guess we were so enamored that we had two guys to talk to in our campground. And we never turned around. We never checked. We stood up and kind of looked, but I never
Yeah.
accounted it to anything. And we never made anything of it. And so that was that. And then maybe the next year, now we're in about 11th grade, and this time we have taken my aunt and my cousins. Well, we started taking our friends up. My mom would take my girlfriends up. I've
Around the
got two
same area.
sisters. Yes, same exact area, same campground. We
Okay.
always went on the other side, and we had it all ruled out. It was like dibs because we'd always get there and nobody else was on our side.
Hmm.
One time we took our aunt up there, and taking her to a, we're taking her to uh, our swing rope where we
Hmm.
always swung off the rope. Now it's across the river.
Oh, I remember those. Those are fun.
Yeah, across the river and down about a mile. And she's walking and she's all prissed out in her, jeweled sandals and whatnot. And we're walking down the path on the opposite side of the river. And we get to this, we're going to show our swing rope. And we're like, yes, one of the grown-ups are coming with us to see our favorite spot,
Mhm.
And we get there and we're just getting ready to show her the rope. And this bat flings at my brother's neck, left 2 marks on his neck. I don't know if it bit it or if it's,
Oh, wow.
yeah. And I kept looking across the river going, oh my God. And I thought somebody threw it. I was sure somebody threw it. It left a huge welt on his neck. My aunt's German and she started cussing in German. And I was like, I kept looking across the river like, oh my gosh, because I thought somebody threw it because it
Yeah.
flung so hard. It left this huge welt on his neck. I was like, oh my gosh, now you're going to be a vampire. And if we could go topical, I could show you exactly where it was at because it was just, and it was so freaky. But that was one incident. And then like the only time my mom ever went into town, she took us kids with her. We came back and she always bought these huge jars of peanut butter because we came from a big family and she would get
Mhm.
everything in bulk. So we had this huge jar of peanut butter and it was opened and it was tilted over on the ground when we came back. And she blamed my brother Bob for it. And I was like, and it had a big finger swipe in it. And she blamed him for getting into it and leaving it out. But we left, and that was the only time we ever left. I remember going to the store. That was the only time we ever left that campground to
Yeah.
go to the store. Because we would get up, my mom would take us up there early before my dad got off work. He owned his own plumbing business.
Yeah.
And so that was one incident right there. And then so we took my friends up one year, and this is when it happened. We took my friends up, my 2 girlfriends, their sisters, Carrie and Julie, and we're laying in a tent, and I'm talking to them all night long, and I'm so perturbed because they fell asleep on me. It's like 2:30 in the morning. It's like 2:30 in the morning, and I hear, I'm just laying there, kind of starting to doze off, and I
Mhm.
hear stomp, stomp right by my head, and stomp. And I thought it was a horse because the ground shook right by my head. And
That feeling real quick, I hate to interrupt you, but it's like when I put my hand on my desk and it's just, it's that you put a hand on one part of the table and you thump it on the other. Um, that's what we felt that night because where we were at and kind of camping and we heard whatever it was walk off. Um, it's kind of like, Elderberry Flats.
yes,
Okay, it was there. And that's both of the times. Once, 20 years before, me and my mom found the footprints there in the snow when we were doing Christmas tree hunting, looking for a Christmas tree. And
yeah,
then about 20 years later or so, as camping about 2 or 3 miles from that, we were doing a little gold panning for the fun of it, just whatever, up there. And we were staying the weekend. And you know how the creek is there, even in July, it can still be pretty wide, but it's mostly that kind of river, rocky kind of thing there with a little bit of dirt here and there. But you could hear it walking off and feel it. So I know what you're talking about.
yes. And so I'm talking to the girls, and the stomps, and it was right by my ear, and it was because the second stomp was right by my ear, and I was like, "Whoa, Nellie!" I said it out loud because I thought it was a horse. I mean, what else could it be? It's not going to be a cow. And so I thought, somebody was riding a horse, and I swear it sounded like it bent down and it started giggling like a girl, like I would giggle, but it sounded like a Shrek, like a monster. And it was giggling, and she walked over by my tent, and I could hear her breathing really heavy, like, just really heavy. And I was so, I wasn't, when it started giggling, like just laughing and laughing and bent over, and then it walked over to my tent. I was frozen. I was literally frozen in my sleeping bag. And all I could do was curl the sleeping bag over my head and said, I'm going to go back to sleep because I can. And when I wake up in the morning, everything's going to be okay. I
Yeah.
covered my pillow with my, and scooted kind of towards the middle. And I fell asleep because we played really hard and I was just exhausted and I just went to sleep. Now when I went to the bathroom, like the next day, I remembered, oh my gosh, I got to check for prints. But my girlfriends are with us and I got 4 brothers and their friends are there. And I was just distracted and I didn't think Bigfoot, you know?
Hmm.
And so there was that. And then, the one time that those guys came, the next day, my cousin Brenda and I, she's 2 years younger, we walk to go to the bathroom and we were going to go take a hike because those guys were coming to meet us the next night. And we were going to go take a hike and see if we could see them on the road.
Hmm.
We got up there, clear across the road, and behind all the other campers, and we were going into the woods. But before we got into the woods, we smelt the most god awful smell that burnt our eyes. I mean, the smell literally burnt our eyes. It was like an onion smell
Hmm.
with with a body odor, like armpit smell that someone hadn't taken a shower in forever, and then kind of a urine smell. And it was so strong, it burnt your eyes. And I'm a really good smeller because my mom always used to have me taste food.
I'm
Ever since,
really sensitive with smells.
yeah, and so she always told
Yeah.
me that. She always told me that. So I was always tasting the food and stuff. And I was always a really good smeller. I felt like I could be a professional smeller, you know.
Mm.
And and I stopped in my tracks and my cousin wanted to go on and I said, no, 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 stop. It's burning my eyes. It's burning my eyes. What is it? What is it? So we got up in the woods and we felt like something was pacing us. And we kept stopping and looking and stopping and looking. And finally I just said, it's a bear. And she ran down and I'm laughing so hard. And she's running down toward the campground where all the other campers are. Because
Mhm.
it's a road we have to get across and then get to the campers. And we get down to the road and I am laughing so hard. She goes, all I got to do is be the faster than the person behind me. I was laughing so hard. And, I never thought about Bigfoot. I never did until my brother told me. And, because these incidents that came up, I was like, oh, I wonder, I wonder. And even the smell part, I never thought about Bigfoot. I just knew that it was something so strong, like a skunk smell, but it wasn't a skunk smell at all. It
Yeah.
wasn't a skunk smell. But
I've heard the onion smell more often than even the skunk smell, actually, or even more than that rotting flesh. I've heard more of a garbage onion skunky smell is pretty much what
it
I've
was
heard.
it was body you could smell the armpit smell so strong that between that and the oniony garlic smell, rotten onions, garlic, so strong that it instantly burnt your eyes when you opened your eyes. I kept blinking my eyes going, my eyes are burning, my eyes are burning, are your
Mhm.
eyes burning? And she was like, yes. But she wanted to go because she was like interested in like checking out to see if we could see the guys come.
Mhm.
And but that was the only time I ever really took a hike up there. Now, one of my girlfriends, Carrie, took a hike up in the woods, and she came back. There's a creek there. We found this water pipe one year, and we hit it every single year. We went up there. We had all my brothers, and we're gonna hide it. We're gonna keep it there. That's our little treasure. Well, we take my friends there, and they had gone up for a hike. We had just gotten there. And I said, I'm not going up that creek. And there's a creek right across from Mona. It's up in there, yeah, somewhere. And and so they went for a hike up in the woods. And when Carrie came back, she goes, God, I was so scared. There's something up there in that woods. There's something up there in that woods. And I was laughing really hard at her. And then now we're getting ready to show our secret hiding spot where we've got this water pipe that we found. It's a little Pepsi pipe, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and we have it hidden and it's our secret spot, you know. And all of a sudden we hear this rumbling really super hard, crashing down through the woods, just crashing really super hard, like trees breaking. I thought it was two elk fighting or something, you know.
Yeah.
And I go, hey, and it stopped. I go, settle down. And
Yeah.
all my friends started laughing, you know, and because it stopped. It stopped, but we were like, holy crap, what is it, you know? And that was that behind us, behind the creek. On the side of Mona Creek, there's a creek right by there where we camp,
Mm-hmm.
and along there. And it was up that creek where it started just crashing really super hard, like a tornado coming down. And then let's see. So years ago, so after that, you know, those are some of the incidents that happened up there
Mm-hmm.
at Blue River Reservoir. So after that, it was not last summer, but summer before that. My grandson and I are at a wedding party, and there everybody's out back partying, you know,
Same
just
area or
no, it's near Jacksonville.
okay.
It's near Jacksonville, and it's right before you get to that road that turns on Jacksonville off Main.
Hold on one second. Let me get
Right here,
to.
yeah, not California Street. It's Main. Go down Main Street in Medford.
Oh, you mean oh. You mean let's see here. Right here.
Yeah, just follow that road back to Jacksonville or back to Main Street where it turns on to go to Jacksonville.
Yeah. This is
Right
how you
before
head to
that.
Jack. This is actually this is Jacksonville right here.
Okay, we're in this little go back to Main Street right up there. You've seen West
Okay.
Main.
Yep.
Go back out.
Right here.
Yes, sir. And then
This,
go down to see that little cul-de-sac right there where all the houses are. No,
yeah.
the one up further, right there.
Oh yeah.
We're
Oh
in
yeah,
there.
right by the farm. Yeah.
Okay. No, we're in there, and we've got tents all over the front yard.
Yeah, I know
And
this area. I remember gosh, me and my dad used to go in
oh,
here.
that's the road we were on. That's the road we.
Yeah, this
Yeah.
is Wanima. Yeah, my dad. Some of these people in here were customers of my dad's for my dad's carpet cleaning business
So
there. 30
we've
years.
got tents all over the front yard. Everybody's in the back partying, and they're just partying up a storm. Well, I don't drink, and I had my grandson with me. So about 10 o'clock, we start to go to bed. I mean, it was exactly 10 o'clock. I start to open the tent, and we hear this guttural roar. And the only thing I can describe it as is a couple of years before I went to Florida, and I heard a crocodile roar, and it was just
I've
guttural.
heard that in Florida. Yeah, me and my
Yeah.
dad went. We were at the St. Petersburg. Oh, let me get my thing off here. St. Petersburg. Uh, uh, it was a sanctuary, basically, animal sanctuary.
Yeah, we went to
Yeah,
the,
it's crazy sounding.
I guess
Scary.
it was Gator Boys, this place where you
Yeah.
could take a pontoon rides down the, what is it, what is that river that that's real famous? I can't remember what it is now. The Nile, not the Nile, but the Everglades.
Yes.
Everglades is where we went to, but they had the Gator Boys there. I guess there's a show called Gator Boys, but these gators were in it and they would roar. And it was like, I mean, it made my hair stand on end because I've never heard a alligator roar before. That's the only thing I could liken it to, that
Mhm.
roar. And it went high at the end. It started out real low and deep and then high at the end. I mean, it did it for like 45 seconds. And I was like, what
Yeah.
is that, DJ? What is that? And he goes, I don't know, Grandma. Oh my gosh. I go, what is it? I mean, I've got time to say it like 3 or 4 times, just trying to get in the tent, and we couldn't because it was right over us. And it sounded like it was a half a mile away, but maybe possibly a mile. But it was so loud and deep
Yeah.
that we knew. And he was the one that said it. It's Bigfoot, Grandma. It's Bigfoot. I go, it has to be. And it had to come from those mountains. Now, see, the pears were
Yeah,
just
these mountains here, I mean, you're basically right here is where you're at in that section. And the thing is people, what people don't know, and if you're not from there, these mountains right here are only about 2.5, 3 miles back from there.
yes, yes.
And so,
And there's
and
a
this
farm
this
over there.
ridge line is actually up Sterling Creek Road, Old Stage Road. They kind of run through the mountain pass here, and these mountains are the Cascade Range. It's part of the Cascade Range. I mean, these are massive mountains, and if you're not from here, you don't really know, and you can it just echoes through this valley. And down here, this around everything that surrounds this is all apple and pear and just different orchards.
Yes.
So whatever comes down through there is probably picking through that stuff at night.
Well,
So
this is what my girlfriend said, that there's a pear orchard. There's a farm over there. We went and checked it out the next day because she's heard it too,
yeah,
right where she lives. They had been hearing it through, her daughter heard it. Like they said, oh, we thought it
it's
was,
just on the other side of that whole cul-de-sac to the north is a whole pear orchard.
yeah, it's on that road, that back
Yeah,
road.
it's right here. This is all pear orchard.
Yes. And they kept hearing it too, also, that it would call. It was like, I thought it was a call, like the coast is clear, come and get the pears, or maybe the leftover strawberries that they were picking or something.
Hmm.
But I seriously wanted to go to that farm and ask them if they've had, any activity, but I never did. We set up there a couple of
Yeah.
nights just trying to look for anything, but it was just insane. The call was insane, and it did it for like 45 seconds, and that's it, and then it was gone.
Yeah, there's some orchards right here.
Yeah.
Some orchard, but people, what they need to know is that most of this stuff back here is all orchards throughout all of this area. And here's the mountains, and it starts climbing up into these mountains.
Yeah.
And these mountains get real big. It's just you're really down low, so you can't really see what's really behind these low-lying hills right here, because it's the valley. So, but it's huge. And look at that, it's
Yeah.
just orchard after orchard after
So
orchard.
one time we were coming back from Albany, my ex-boyfriend and I, and we pulled over because he had to go to the bathroom. We pulled over and looped around in, and I think it was between uh like almost towards Sutherland, and
Up
in
where I'm
between
at.
Grand, up between Roseburg and Sutherland, yes. And we pulled off on this one back road, and we pulled in, and we were going to the bathroom, and I looked up on this tree, and there's like this big clump of red hair, and it was hair. And
Yeah,
I
here
go,
is
what?
Sutherland right here, and then you're gonna have, well, there's all kinds of area out in here. Here's basically I-5 here, and if you look to either side, it's just mountains that way, hills and
No, it was
that
mountain.
way.
Mountain is really super close to the road, really super close to the road.
Yeah.
And it was so deep in the forest, like, this back road we pulled off, headed towards Medford, and we pulled off, and we looped around on this road that was really close to um, I-5. And I look up in the tree and I see this clump of hair, which I still have. It's in my gold panning bag. And I
Oh,
go,
if you could take a picture of that and send it to me, that'd be great.
okay, yes, I
I'd love
will.
to take a picture. Yeah, and we'll put that up on the Facebook for everybody so they can.
Yeah. And so then a couple of years ago, and I haven't seen my ex-boyfriend in forever. And I go over to see him one time, and because he's really fun. I go over there, and he tells me, oh my gosh, One-Eyed Jack, this guy that he built an electric bike for, he used to always go around picking up garbage. He's just kind of that kind of guy. It's this guy, and he took all the workers from the work crew that were in the jail
Mhm.
to go pick up garbage at Lake of, or Lost Creek Lake. I think it's Lost Creek Lake, either Lost Creek Lake or Lake of the Woods. Lake of the Woods.
I
And
love Lake of the Woods. We go to Lake of the Woods, like me and my family, we go up that way. I have been for decades since I'm from here. So that's just kind of like Hyatt Lake, Howard Prairie, Lake of the Woods. Those are home away from home for me.
yes, yes.
Mhm.
And he said that Jack said that there was uh, something pacing him in the tree line as he was picking up garbage, and all the other uh, the prisoners were there with him too.
Mhm.
And he's up a little further, but it was pacing him, and he thought it was a girl. It squatted down. He turned and took a picture of it with his cell phone, and it was just a little flip phone. And but I have that picture. I still have his phone. I
Oh,
went
wow.
and blew it up. I went and blew it up, and Walmart said it was so bad that couldn't even couldn't even
Well, if
get
you could
bought.
take a picture of that picture with a news.
No, I have it, and I will send it to you right
Yeah,
now.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Send that to me in a picture of the hair there. That would be great. And
I
I'll
can
when I
send the
put this
picture
out
right.
on Monday with everybody, I'll share the pictures on Facebook so everybody can kind of take a look and see what they
Yeah, I
think.
can. And his name's Jack Mareva,
Okay.
and they called him One Eye Jack. And I heard you say that one time, and I was like,
Uh-huh.
what? And so, but
In a
but
place called One Eyed Jack. So
yeah, his name's Jack Mareva, and he took the prisoners out. He was one of the ones that was with them, and to drive them out there to
mhm.
take the work release center out there to pick up garbage. And so I was like, holy moly. And I don't know.
I have somebody who did a work release thing here in Oregon. I think it was along the coastline who actually had a pretty scary encounter. I think it was back in early 90s, late 80s. I'm working on that one right now. There wasn't, I mean, it's about 5 or 6 paragraphs of experience. I mean, but it was pretty scary sounding. So I'm working on that as part of the PacWest Bigfoot, encounter stories, because it's just he didn't tell me a lot about himself or anything like that. So I'll make a story, campfire story out of that one. But it's pretty cool. That would be creepy. So
Yeah.
I know what he's talking about. That's yeah.
So, but the reason why we were talking about it is because a couple of years before that, well, we had dated about 6 years ago again, and his brother-in-law was up on China Gulch Road picking morel mushrooms and saw a Bigfoot. He said he did,
China Gulch Road. Nice. I
and
remember that.
and
Here.
he said because they live on Sterling Creek, way out behind Jacksonville, in between Jacksonville, kind of Rouge area.
Oh, whoops.
And he was picking around mushrooms and stuff. It was in the back of a farmer's field, and he didn't act like he was the least bit worried about him. He looked at him and he just walked off. Like it was just really weird. And um, so and then when I see him, I go, so my boyfriend tells me about this, and so I go, when we get there, I go, so
Yeah,
Jimmy,
this is it out here, and this is pretty far out.
I said, Jimmy, so where do you think you saw this? He goes, what do you mean think? I already know I saw what I saw. And then I guess the next day his wife went up and took pictures of it and everything. So he tells me that, and I'm over there, and all of a sudden he's telling me about it, and this is way after he gave me the phone to go get the
Mhm.
picture on and everything. His brother and sister-in-law come over, and this is just this last summer, and now his brother's name's Johnny, and Johnny tells me he's going down Sterling Creek Road. He's cruising down, and he sees a guy ahead of him walking up the road that's got a brown jumpsuit on. He goes, dude, that guy's got to be sweltering hot, because it was super, super hot outside, because he
Mhm.
was in a brown jumpsuit.
Yeah,
And he's going down the road, and now he's coming up a hill, and he can see the guy, and he's going down the road again. And
I've been
because
up and down this road too. I actually used to live just a little bit up this road for a little while. It's way out there too. As a matter of fact, one of my encounter stories comes from pretty far out Sterling Creek Road, but it was on
Yeah,
Sterling Creek Road.
yeah. His sister's really far out, but it's just past
And I know where
Jacksonville.
that one was, and I'll show you guys while you're continuing that. Let me find the
Okay, so he sees this
general
guy walking
area.
up towards him. Now he says, "Man, that guy's got to be hot." He goes, "Dude, that guy's tall," and he's thinking to himself because his mind, he's just
It
by
was right
himself, so
here.
he's thinking in his mind. He's thinking in his mind, God, that guy's tall. And so he's coming up close, and the guy jumps over a fence. Well, he's not even thinking anything about it till he passes the fence. The fences are like, over 6 feet tall. And he was like, oh my gosh, that guy just jumped that fence. The only thing that's on the other side is blackberries.
Mm-hmm.
And so he doesn't even dawn on him until after he's past it going, oh my gosh, I think that was a Bigfoot. He tells me that just last summer. And so, and then my girlfriend told me when, I'm talking about it, we were in,
I think on the screen right now, I think this is the general area.
well, it was past a
for
6 foot fence going up a hill or down a hill or something. He's telling me
Yeah.
about it. And I haven't been on that road too many times. I went to,
Yeah,
his
I
sister's
think this
house.
is it right in here. What within a few hundred yards or so. It's near some.
Well, just keep going down the road till you see a 6 foot fence. But he said
Well, I was talking about the other story, encounter story I had on the website was right around in here somewhere, I believe, because I remember this right here. So yeah.
And so, but and none of these people really know each other. And so last well, so I'm gonna go last Christmas. I'm gonna go get some binoculars for my little grandkids because we always go look for Bigfoot. I can never get anybody to go look for me besides my 2-year-old grandson and my 6-year-old grandson because we believe in Bigfoot. And I take them with me. So I'm gonna go get them binoculars for Christmas. And
Well,
we're in
apparently everybody else believes in them too, and that's why they ain't going out there. It's like I don't want none of that.
if they don't, then why won't they go with me? So so I'm getting these binoculars, and my cousin, who is a non-believer, Heather, she's with me. And we're getting at Blackbird. We're at Blackbird, and we're getting binoculars. And because I know that every year they sell binoculars and they sell them for super cheap. They're expensive ones, but they sell them for super cheap. Like this year they were like $7, but they're regularly like $20. They're
Yeah.
good enough for kids. They're really cute ones and they're nice ones. And so I wait until the sale and I go and ask him, I'm looking for your sale. And he goes, oh yeah, those are way back over here, like by the shoe department, over. I'm like, why are they way back here? So we walk all the way down there and I tell him, we're going to go look for Bigfoot. My little grandkid's going to come with me, blah, blah, blah. And I'm just telling him, he's not saying anything. He's not saying anything. We finally get to him. I'm looking for him, looking at him. And he goes, do you want to hear my story? I go, you got a story?
Nice.
And I go, you got a story? And he goes, yes. Scared the living daylights out of me. It's the scariest thing that's ever happened to me in my life. And my cousin's rolling her eyes, right? Because she's a non-believer. I'm going, yes, tell me. And he said his dad and him were in Eastern Oregon. I told my brother was at Lapine. He goes, no, way Eastern Oregon. And he said they were hunting. And this thing on 2 feet is walking up tall, just plowing down trees, walking right past him, and they're hiding behind a tree. And the thing barrels across the highway, and they've got CBs with them, and they hear the drivers going, "Did you see that?" And they're just like, oh, and so that was his story. And I was like, oh, you're kidding me. Oh, you're kidding me. He goes, it barreled across the freeway and they can hear the drivers going, did you see that? What was that? Did you see that? So there's another story right there, So
Yeah.
I have no doubt in my mind that this thing exists. I mean,
Nice.
It is just
Nice. Well, thank you so much for all of that. That's awesome.
yeah, yeah,
That was awesome. From
yeah,
Albany to Jacksonville. That
yeah.
was
And I've
great.
got more
Yeah.
stories. You know, like
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I wouldn't mind having you back here in the next few weeks, talk a little bit more about some of the other folks that have had their encounters and shared their stories with you. That'd be awesome. I would
well, what I'd
love
like to
that.
do is have my brother tell his story
Yeah,
as
I'd like to get that if
he
possible.
did. He told me everything, you know, just everything. It was all vivid when because he says I asked him not too long ago, it was last summer, could you know about it? He goes, I remember every single moment of it, you
If
know.
you can tell him that I'm a fellow Rogue Valleyer, and I would love to sit down and just have him share that with us here on the PWB, that'd be awesome.
Yeah,
Great.
and I'm going to send you that picture of the
Yeah,
Bigfoot.
send me a picture of that and a picture of the hair. I'd like to see that
It's
as
really pixelated. It's
I
really
don't care.
pixelated.
We can.
And I got to get out my bag and find it. My
Mhm.
go panning bag. It's set up in the garage or something. It's been there for
And if
so.
I were you and you get out and you want to check out some things, yeah, if you, I'd be really safe out there. But Elderberry Flat seems to be a real. I'm just gonna say it straight. It is the creepiest place around that whole Rogue Valley. If you go up out of the Rogue Valley and you want to go into the woods, there are two places I think around Southern Oregon that are just the creepiest places. I think, especially when it comes to like doing some Bigfoot research and you're thinking you're going to find Elderberry Flats and up around Crater Lake or the Natural Bridge area. Uh, you know, um,
And Prospect.
Prospect is basically the same general area. So those areas there, I'm telling you. Now, if you want to go stomping around as well, I would also consider three areas. The other one would be around the Howard Prairie Hyatt Lake area. And the
Yes.
reason is that my mom heard screaming one night from the Little Hyatt. And you know how right when you come around the bend there, it's called Boozer's Bend. That's where my dad got in that bad car accident, and that's why they call it Boozer's Bend. But
Um,
yeah, yeah. You come up around there, and you're about to pull into Hyatt Lake, what used to be the Hyatt Lake Resort area, the main area,
yeah,
a long time
I know.
ago.
Yes,
But
I know.
right across the street, you go and you take off, and it's like about 2-3 miles up that old dirt road. There is Little Hyatt Lake, a picturesque, beautiful place. She said there was screaming like a somebody described it as a insane woman being killed or murdered or something one night, and she heard that over and over for a few or so minutes, just screaming.
Yeah,
And
you know if it's because bobcats they scream like a woman, but you know the difference when you hear that guttural sound to it.
it's yeah, she said it was very different. She said it was like a human and an animal all at the same time. So it wasn't, and she's heard cougar and bobcat and things like that before. We're from Oregon. I mean, we're familiar with that stuff.
Yeah,
This was
exactly.
completely different. That's like when I heard whatever it was walk off that night. That was I've been in the same pen as 5 bear and one was grizzly,
Yeah.
and
No,
I've
not
pet them. And I'm telling you right now, you don't hear them coming.
yeah. Well, my ideal is if I could see him from a car. Just speeding by, speeding
Yeah,
by.
but
I wouldn't
Elderberry
mind going with
Flats up
girls
around that way, plus up
and
around
girls.
Prospect, Crater Lake area is another place to
Yeah, I
go.
want to take my girlfriends this summer and go up. And if you know of any other girls that are,
I'm not sure if you should go up to like the Prospect, Crater Lake area. That place seems pretty like
oh,
they
okay.
seem to be very aggressive there and very scary, and people go missing there.
Oh,
I
no.
would say somewhere around the Hyatt Lake area. I would say Elderberry Flats is a good place because whatever it was just walked off.
Yeah.
It was there, but it walked off.
What
So.
about that one from Carberry Campground? Did you ever hear that story where those two couple were there and it took their chicken that they were cooking?
Uh-uh. No, I haven't heard
Well,
that.
it disappeared. That story disappeared on the internet. And I listened to it. It was at Carberry Campground, which is at end of Applegate Lake
Yeah,
almost.
yeah, I know where that's at.
Yeah.
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 Applegate's another good place to go check out too.
Yes.
Yeah,
Oh
it's
my
pretty fun.
gosh. Yeah.
Yeah. Southern Oregon is like I keep telling people it's like that's, between that and the Mount St. Helens area and Bluff Creek, those are like the three hot spots for Bigfoot.
Yeah, that border right there
Investigating
too.
is crazy. So, but with that, I got to get back. We are homeschooling parents, and today is Friday, so we're going to finish up early. But thank you so much for getting on here, Linda. And yeah, see if your brother will chat with us. Share me those, send me over those pictures. And I'd also like to, we'll set up some time this next week for maybe a couple, 2, 3 weeks from now, and get into a little bit more of some of the stories around here that you've heard. So that would
Yeah,
be very awesome. So
yes.
thank
And
you. Thank you.
thank you for inviting me.
And
Thank
stay
you.
on here real quick. Okay. Just stay on for a second.
Okay.
And for those of you out here in the PacWest Bigfoot world, that was awesome. Thank you guys for being here. And don't forget, go grab something from the PWB old shop there at PacWestBigfoot.com. If you haven't, get on the list, PacWestBigfoot.com, PacWestBigfoot.com. You can get on the list there. I like to give away a little something free every month. My kids go through the random emails. They pick one, and then that's it. And then I get you a little something out of the old shop there. So with that, thank you guys, and God bless, and I will see you on the next episode.